Do you want to turn Christmas cards into a scrapbook layout? Well, let me show you how. I am excited to be kicking off the Creative Design Team's monthly collaboration, and all week long we are going to be showing you how to turn a Christmas card design into a scrapbook layout. So this is the design I have selected. This is actually one of Andrea's cards from our 31 Days of Christmas Cards event from 2023. So I've got the handout here, but I wanted to show you we've got embossing. This is actually a fun fold card, so it opens up like that. Now I'm not making a fun fold layout, but I'm going to show you how I'm going to translate this design into a scrapbook page. So I will tell you more about the 31 Days of Christmas card event as we go, because I have some exciting news for you. Now, even though this is a Christmas card, I am going to be creating a coffee themed layout using this design idea for my inspiration. So I have two photos of my mom and I love this picture of my mom, and we were having a cup of coffee at our local Starbucks and spending some time together. So the Little Latte collection is going to blend beautifully. My mom even has like this, well, it's like more of a peacock color, but it's like a deeper color of this. So I think it's going to just go beautifully. So I've already done a little bit of the work here and selected my papers. Let me set this to the side. So let's break this down. You can see there is a border of white cardstock around the outside. I am going to have crumb cake be my outside border, and then you have two, triangles of different pattern papers framing in the subject. So I have gone ahead and cut down this pattern paper here. On the other side, we've got these splatters, which have so many great uses for them, from outdoor pages to mud runs to coffee layouts. So many fun ideas. Now this one, we've got large coffee cups on one side and little tiny coffee cups on the inside. So I didn't bother trimming up both corners. I just did one, and we're going to overlap them so they are at a 45-degree angle. Now I have created a layout exactly like this here on my channel and walked you through the process of cutting all of the dimensions and everything. So I will leave that video listed in the description box below so you can check that out if you want the exact measurements. So you can see here we have already our layout design coming together. We've got the outside, and then we've got two different pattern papers in a triangle, and then we have our centerpiece of cardstock for our main focal point on the card, but in this case it's going to be these two photos, and I think I'm going to overlap them like that. Now you know me, I can't not ink up the edges anyway, but the edges are inked up on this card design, so I'm going to go ahead and do that to my pattern papers with espresso ink, and I'll tell you more about the exciting news. So let me go ahead and set these to the side, and then we will just start with this particular piece right here going around the edges. This is just going to help separate those layers, and the dark edge is going to add a lot of interest. I know many of you have been eagerly awaiting for our annual 31 Days of Christmas Cards event, and today registration is now open. Join the creative design team for the entire month of October for festive technique-based classes. We have two guest designers, Lisa Stenz and the talented Jill Broadbent. Participants will be treated to a new technique-based class every day, and not only do we share this technique, but we will show you several different examples and ways to use that technique utilizing supplies you already have in your own craft room. Coloring techniques, fun folds, one-sheet wonders, interactive cards, and so much more. You definitely do not want to miss out on this fun holiday event. The event is $39.95, and if you break that down over 31 classes, that's basically like $1.25 a class. Where are you going to be able to take classes for $1.25 each? It's an awesome value. Each class does have a full PDF printable handout with step-by-step instructions, all the cutting measurements and supply list, everything you need to recreate those projects. And you can come back and watch the classes over and over again. These classes are pre-recorded, so you can watch when it best fits into your schedule. I just about have all of my pieces inked up here, and we can get on with our layout design. And I know many of you are scrapbookers as well as card makers, but I encourage you to join us. I hope to see you over there. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to go ahead and get those adhered to the base off camera, and to save that crumb cake cardstock in the center, we're going to remove that piece. So to do this, I highly recommend you have a rail trimmer like this, and I'm just rotating the page each time. I'm leaving a little bit of that crumb cake margin so I can adhere my top white cardstock piece, and there's plenty of room for it to attach. So we can save this for another project, and I'll go ahead and adhere this into the center. We can bring our photos back in. And now what I want to do is add some embossing. We've got this embossed background on our card, and I want to use that same technique on our layout. So this is a large embossing folder. It's called the Dotted Circles 3D embossing folder. And I have a piece of Lost Lagoon cardstock. I love that this is kind of like an oversized embossing folder. It makes it really great for scrapbooking. So we have got all that fun embossed background detail. And I'm going to layer my photos right over the top here. Now we need a little interest behind this photo. So I've grabbed some of the pattern papers. That one's a bit bright. We could try that side. We've got some different options. We've got our little splatters here. And then this delicious looking swirl. I like that one. I think that one complements the photos nicely. So we're going to create a photo mat and layer them underneath each other like this. I want to add a little background stamping to the white space on the right-hand side of the layout. So I'm going to choose a couple of these images here and attach them to a block. I have the splatter stamp and the coffee circle. This is the Latte Love stamp set, and we're going to ink these up in Pecan pie ink. I am going to use both first and second generation stamping. So I have actually attached all of those together so I can move them out of the way. And what I'm going to do is stamp once and twice before inking it up to get different variations of the same color. So we'll repeat that down here, and I'm just kind of having fun with this, bringing in my photos, then moving them out of the way so I can have it coming out from underneath my photos. I think we need a few more. And you'll notice I'm stamping off behind where the photos are going to be because that's, I want the second generation to show. So let's add a few of these splatters. Again, I don't want the darker, so I'm stamping off behind the photos and then stamping a second time. But I do think I want them darker. So now I'm going to line those up and make those a bit darker. And I think that looks a little bit better. Isn't that fun? Now I have this super cute coffee carafe that I've put together and a couple of these die cut images. So this stamp set comes with a whole bunch of dies, and the dies cut out the shapes on the pattern paper. So I got two full paper packs of this collection, and I have used a lot of the images for embellishments. So we can go ahead and adhere this down because I'm done with my background stamping for now, so we can get this permanently attached to the background here. Now we can start the fun embellishing process. I have these two coffee cups here that are nice little circular elements. We could put them up here, maybe down here. I kind of want them nestled together, and then I have this adorable carafe. I want a cluster up here, but now it's kind of pouring onto Mom's head. I'm not sure if that's very nice. We may need to move that. I do have this stamp set in my stash. This is a close to my heart stamp set. It's called Coffee Helps, and I've got this already stamped in here. It says, "I don't need an inspirational quote. I need coffee." I don't want all these circular elements right next to each other. I do want to spread those out. So now we can bring this back down here, maybe here. I like it kind of pouring into the layout. And I also have these adorable coffee cups from the Stampin' Up! A Little Latte set, and we could possibly die cut those. I have introduced this peach color in the coffee cup up in the upper left corner. And there's a little insert here. This cuts coffee for the inside. So I'm going to go ahead and die cut those. We have two. I'm using peach cardstock from Close to My Heart because I had some scraps, but the actual color is Petal Pink
in this collection, but they really actually coordinate beautifully together. Now, to add a little shading to your cardstock on these small images, these markers are great. So I've grabbed the Petal Pink Stampin' Blends, and I'm just adding a hint of color to make this cup look a bit more dimensional. And now let's go ahead and adhere our coffee. So I get asked about this glue quite a bit. This is the Barely Art glue, and I like it because it has a fine precision tip, making it really great for these tiny little embellishments. So I'm doing the same thing to my second cup. We'll add a drop of glue, and I'm using a wax pencil to pick up that tiny little shape and tap it into place. So we're going to add a little pop of this peach color. You see how that just instantly ties in with the color in the upper left-hand corner. I think that looks really good. So I'm happy with that. And I want to repeat this swirl paper. So I already had these tags cut in my scrap stash. So these are going to be perfect to further beef up this embellishment cluster up top. I'm not sure if we're going to use that one there. I cut a piece of this super cute burlap polka dot ribbon. This comes with the Latte collection. I bought the whole suite even before I knew I was coming over to Stampin' Up because it's just so me. I want to finish this off with a little twine. I've got these here from the current seasonal catalog, and I was thinking maybe this one, but it's a bit red. I don't want to introduce that red brown. So let's go with this linen thread. I'm going to tie a little bit of thread around my ribbon here. I wanted to tie a little bow, and I didn't give myself quite enough twine, so I'm tying it in a knot, but you'll notice I end up swapping that out with a longer piece that allowed me to tie a bow. I don't have a big story to tell, so for my journaling, I've cut just a few strips of dark espresso brown cardstock, and I do want to record the details at least. So I am going to use my white gel pen. This is a Jelly Roll pen, and this will stand out on that darker background. I document my mom and I having coffee quite a bit, so there's not always a big story to tell. So again, I just want the details, enjoying a delicious coffee break with mom, and then the date, which was March of 2024. This may not look like it's standing out much on the video here, but you'll see in the still shots it does have a nice contrast and is easy to read. I'm adding a little white line around the box, and I'll get the other strips done off camera. Now I wanted a little bling, so I used the ombre matte decorative dots. There's that nice peach color, and added a few of those. I still have this piece here, but I'm feeling like it's just a bit too much. Maybe a tab, and this brings that peach color over to the other side. Maybe both of these, we could layer them. You know what? I think I just like the tab. Sometimes less is more.
Before we take a look at those layouts, I do want to bring my card design back in, and you can see we've got those two triangular shapes of pattern paper. Now my diagonal line is running this way, and on my layout it's running that way. So I basically just rotated the sketch, but really this whole thing was inspired by this card, from the pattern paper and the style we've trimmed it into, to the embossing here and here, and then we've got our center cluster focus, our titles underneath, center cluster focus just on a larger scale, title underneath, right, anchoring those. And I love the way it turned out. So much fun to draw inspiration from an unexpected source. I'm not sure I could fit them all into the frame here, and there are process videos for these layouts I've created earlier here in the year on my channel. So you can see, rather than cut those cups out, here I've used it as a pattern paper to add a fun design to the edge of this. And we've got some background stamping with that splatter and coffee ring stamps, some tags, and then you can see here that super cute French press. That's why I wanted to use this, so I can use the different embellishments on the different layouts just to switch it up a bit. But I love how this turned out. I did the same rose gold paper here. We've got a little tab element, some coffee beans scattered around. There's those little cups there, so we've just used them in a different way. And then this one here I was documenting. We were at the Tower of Pisa. These are both from my Italy album. So we were having a coffee. We got there super early in the morning to get pictures without a bunch of people in the background. And here my friend Bonnie and I were in Florence having coffee and scones. So I've also pulled in the Coffee with Friends stamp set to embellish this one. You can see the girl here, and then the scones and coffee cups there. And then I've die cut the circle coffee cups out and tucked them in. A lot of background stamping on this one. And then I used some flowers from the Fully Flowering Ephemera pack. But we have 3 different layouts, all featuring this paper collection.
And I've had so much fun with it. I do want to mention at the time of filming, this paper collection is low quantity. Now this was an online only special, so once it's gone, I do not know if it will return online. The supplies are listed in the description box below, along with the link to the 31 Days of Christmas Cards event. I can't wait to see you there. Come back each day this week for more inspiring ideas from the creative design team, who will be turning Christmas cards into scrapbook layouts.